Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on something special. Now I had originally just thought I'd use this heart, but then I decided, no, you'd probably want to see how to make the heart. Now I did make this one on my live on April Fool's Day, so you could see how to do it using this one, but I just figured I'd make it an all new one. Because, hey, why not, right? So I've got some beads out. I've got some wire out. So let's turn down and we'll start on it. So I've cut two pieces of wire here. One is 16 gauge, and I believe I cut an 8-inch piece here. It's about 8 1/4. So that's fine. That just means our heart's going to be a little bit bigger, and that's all right, no biggie. So I'm going to straighten this wire out some, and then we'll get the other piece out. And I've cut about, I think, 3 1/2 inches of this one. Yes, 3 1/2 of our 18. So now what I want to do with these is I'm going to take my Sharpie here. We're going to go and make a mark in the middle. So since I have this at, it's about 8 1/4, we'll move it down to here and then we'll just mark it 4. So a little mark in the middle. Now we're going to do the same with this. So it's 3 1/2. Well, actually it's 3 1/4. So we'll go to 1 1/2 and then add an 8. So that's the middle of this one. So now what we need to do, since we're going to put a loop in the middle of this as opposed to just having it be in the middle, we're going to take our bell making plier and we're going to put it right there on that loop or on the mark, and we're going to make a loop. And it's not straight. See how I've got way more over here? So I don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish our wrap with the other side here instead of with using our middle at all. So there's our loop. If I get it out of here. And actually, I want that to stay in for right now because I want this to go relatively straight. See how I did that? Now I'm going to measure and see if these are actually the same size from side to side. If they're not, I'm going to trim it some. That's a little over 1 1/4. 1 1/4 is right here, so we would need to trim a little bit off. So I think it's still a little bit longer. Let's see. Well, actually, it's almost 1 1/2 to this side, not quite. And there, that's good. So now that we've got this done, what we need to do is then take and turn both ends. What do I do if there they are? Now we want this to turn down also, like these are. So we'll just make little turns on either side of this. And then again, oops, I didn't get that all the way around. Then on the other side over here. Now I could have put a little more, cut a little more wire, and then we would have a longer wire wrap. But in the meantime, we're going to just use this one. And now what we need to do is get our magenta wire out. Let's put these spacers in here. and we're going to start wrapping from the middle here. Now we want about a little over 2 feet probably for wrapping. Maybe not quite that much because I cut that wire piece a little smaller. So, but we do need at least, probably at least 2 feet. So we're gonna go, I put the ruler away, silly me. I need to measure my wire, don't I? So now we're going to take this wire and we want 1 foot and 2 feet. So right here at the end, we'll cut this off right about here. Now, like I said, this is 22 gauge wire. You can definitely use a smaller gauge for this. I usually do, in fact. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to get this sort of folded in half here. Not quite really folded in half, but what we're going to do then is we're going to take this, where this meets our main bar here, and we're going to put one side of our wire through our loop and come up to the, and bring it up tight, and then tighten this up where, and then go either way, so tighten it up where these come together. So now what we're going to do is we want 3 loops of wire inside our loop here. So we'll go through again. I'm going to stick my thumb here to hold this from kinking. And there we go. Loop number 2 through the loop, baby. Come on, all the way through. There we go. Now, this comes down here. This goes over here. There is our 3 upper bars. Now, normally I would not have, I would have put these, yeah, that's right, separate there right here. We wouldn't have started like that, but because we have the loop in it, we need to start a little strange. So we're going to pull this up, then we're going to put 3 wraps across our base bar here. Push it down so it's tight. Then when you come back around, you're going over both again. 1, 2, and 3. Like so. Now we're going over just the base bar again with the 3. 1, 2, and 3. Wanted to loosen up there. So now all the 3 big ones over both. Now we'll do the 3 just on the base bar again. Push them down, tighten them up. Now the big 3. 1, 2, and 3. Nope, don't go over the top of each other. There we go. So now when we go back over to this side, we will just be going with this one. Let's push it down because we don't want it to be really loose. 2. And I wrap better when I turn this direction. So we'll push this up here and push these down, and this goes there for 3. So there's the 3 there and the 3 there, and then this would be then go to the 3 large ones, and then the 3 small again. And what did I do here? I've got a wonky thing going on here, so we're going to have to see what that was about. That is because I just went up instead of coming down and around. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's a little funky still because I didn't get it tight enough. So we're going to pull her back again. We're going to tighten that up. And then we'll go back over again. 3. And I think I wrapped over the top of the wire now this time. So, yeah, I did. So we have to go. There we go. Now we've got it. We're back to the 1, 2, 3 on this side. And there's the 3 smalls. Now we go the 3 large. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've got those 3 in, we want to go into the loop. So we're going to open the loop up. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll close our loop back up and go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's this side finished. Now we need to go back over to the other side and get back to it. So we ended up at our 3 large. So now we got to do our 3 smalls. So 1, 2, and 3. Then 3 large. 1, 2, 3. 3 smalls. 1, 2, 3. Push them down, get them tight. And 1, 2, 3. Now we're doing the small again. 1, 2, 3. So we should have 4 in the middles up here. 1 through this bar, 4 in the middle, and 1 through here. We've got 3 in the middle now, so this is our 4th in the middle one. And now we have the 3 smalls. Now we go inside our loop. So we open our loop up. 1, 2, 3 in the loop. Now we'll close our loop back up. And then 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we are with our wraps all done. So now we'll cut this extra wire off. And tuck these wires in. Now remember, when you're using colored wire, you need to be careful when you do your tucks, because you don't want to strip the color off of your colored wire if you can help it. So there we go. Now I'm going to get the nylon jaw pliers back out, and we're going to squish this so it stays sort of up and down. Now the loop has actually made this one step a little bit easier, and that's because where that is the center. We know that's the center because we've already figured it out, and this is where we need to make our bow. So I'm going to take my triangular wire mandrel. I'm going to put that loop right there at the edge, and then we're going to bend it. Let's see, we'll just use down here because it's easier because we got a little bit of a platform to sit on. So up, and then up on the other side. So now we look like so, and we're actually a little bowed more than I want it, so I'm going to just unbow it a little bit. Then we're going to take our nylon jaw pliers and we're going to squish it again because it's bowed a little bit upward when we did that. So we don't want it bowed up, so there we go. There's that. Now our next step is to make sure that these two sides are the same. This one looks a little bit longer than this one to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure them. So let's get our measuring tape or a ruler out, whichever you prefer. I have both here. So then we're going to measure here. This looks like just a bare tad over 3 inches. So go the same over here. And actually it might be about the same. Looks like it's about 3 1/8 on this side. Yeah, it's about the same, so that's good. So our next step is we want to take our round wire mandrel, or something that is round that you can wrap around. Pill bottle, I got this. I'm not even sure what this is. It came in my Beadle on Mystery bag, but that's a good shape. So then what we want to do is decide about how far up we want this heart to start. And we're going to bow our wire around. So we're on the on the third one up right there. So we're going to go about right here and wrap this one. So now this one did not wrap as cleanly as the other one, probably because it was the second one. And even though I measured and those looked to be the same, this one is acting like it's a little higher. So let's see if we can get it to behave a little better. Oops, it looks like it's longer yet now, doesn't it? And it's wider. So we're going to bow this a little bit and this a little bit. And I think that I started this one lower. So we're going to pull it back up some, and we're going to go back on our mandrel, and we're just going to pull it out some and then bring this down again. So now we're more evened out here. Ta-da! Now the next step is to make our loops. If we're happy with the way it's sitting here. It's not bad, I think. So now we'll take our bell making pliers again. One of these ones. And we'll make, I'm going to use the second one for these because we want a relatively good size loop. So then we go inside here and just twist our piece up so it's like so. Do the same with this side. So there we go. Now these need to be pulled out so they're like this, or they need to be made a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go with the second option. We're going to go in here and we're going to go right up here to the top of the loop, and I'm going to cut it off. So that way I've cut both of them at approximately the same spot. So now we'll take our bell making pliers in and finish those loops back up. And now they're pretty close to each other. See there? So there is our pink heart. Now I actually am wondering if this one side is, I think they're good. So there's our pink heart. So now we've got our loop at the bottom and our pink heart. The next thing we want to do is hammer this a bit to give it some firmness. We're going to take this and we're going to hammer our heart on both front and back. To even her out some. So there we go. There's our heart all done. So now our next steps is to make the Suncatcher portions of it. So what we need to do that is to simply make some dangles. Now we have a choice of our dangles. Do we want them to be on beading wire or SoftFlex? You know, beading wire or craft wire. I'm going to lean towards beading wire because then they have some more flexibility and such. But we're going to get a large jump ring. We're going to go up here, or actually we could just do it with beading wire if we wanted. I'm going to put this heart in the middle. Then this big bicone. No, I decided not the big bicone. We're going to go with the two little bicones. Down, and it's going to hang right here in the center. Now, I have to decide if I want this one to go on wire or a beading, but we'll see. So these big guys are going to go on either side down this from the side loops here. And then this one will be up here above. This one will be down here. And then we're going to put a pearl on each of these. Come on, there's the other pearl. There we go. Then one of these big silver-like hexagon guys. One of the little small bicones again. I think, anyway, we'll see. We're going to go with this here. No, I need some color down below. Let's put this guy in here first. This one's going to go up here. This one goes over here. Then we have our black piece. So this is what our dangles are going to look like. I'm going to dangle down from either arm, and this is going to be here. And then this guy is going to be up here. I still have one black one. Did I want to have that one up there too? Maybe. So then I have to put some spacers in, and then we're going to have to start stringing these guys up. Now I think I could, depending on what spacers I use, I could up here. I don't think I'm going to use these big bead caps unless I decide to use it like below here. Let's see here. If I do that, come here, you little black guy. Will it look better like so, maybe? Could do that. Now I just need to decide what other kind of spacers I'm going to use, and I think we're just going to use straight daisy spacers probably, though I do have some rhinestone spacers, small rhinestone spacers. Let's see how that would look like right here. Here, I'll go right there. And again, here between these guys. I'm going to put these in a dish and we'll decide if we're going to use them or not as we go along. And I still have to decide whether we're going to put these on wires or if we're going to use beading wires. So let's pull a couple of wires out here. And we'll see if that will work as far as putting these together. I know it will on the shorter one, well, the heart needs straight wire because it's gonna sit like a. It's got a hole through, instead of going up and down, it's through the top here, so it needs to let's see if this will work with this silver guy. Yeah, I think it will. Ooh, this wire's all wonked up. Let's see if we can get it straightened. Well, let's see if it's good enough to use. So we're going to string this up here like so, and then we can hook them up to our frame. Let's see if I need, if this will go with the black or if it's going to go. No, it'll work, I think. So there is our middle strand. So it's just, we're going to just wrap those up and put them, hanging them on here. I'm going to hang them with jump rings, I'm fairly positive. Now this one is going to need either some straight wire because we're going to have to hook here and then, you know, do a wire wrap on either side. This one also is probably going to want a wire wrap. Let's wrap these three up, and then we can put them onto our, so we'll just I'll get these three wrapped, and then we're going to get some 20 gauge wire out to do the upper pieces. So up and around and over, bring it down, bring it around. Now this is heads turned just a little bit, so we're going to get hold of it here, and I'm going to put my thumbnail here and just twist it a little bit. Now we're going to wrap the other two. I'm going to trim this little teeny bit of excess off here and tuck it in. So there's our middle one and our first side one. So now we have the second one. Whoa, dropped it. That wasn't good, was it? This one seemed to have less wire than this one when we put it together, but that's all right. So now we're going to just get some jump rings and put these 3 together, and then we'll get some 20 gauge wire and string up the middle here and the hanger, and then we're going to put it on some chain so we have a little bit of length to it. So let's get some jump rings out. I actually had a couple of medium ones here that I was using before and they didn't work for what I wanted. One is even opened, so we'll use those 2, and we'll have to find get another one out. But we've got these 2. These are medium 6mm ones, and so we'll go on this baby, then through this loop and close it up. Oops, dropped it. No want to drop things. Where are you? Come back here. Okay, there's number 2. Now we need to get the 3rd jump ring for the 3rd piece. Got the 3rd one, so let's get it put on. So there is our heart with the first 3 dangles. Now I did get a big one out here. This is to go across this, and then it'll grab hold of this loop when we get it made as well. So we just need like a little bit of wire here. In fact, well, no, we'll just get some out. I need to go get some 20 gauge wire. I don't think I have any here by me. Okay, so I got my spool of 20 gauge wire. We don't need very much for either end here. In fact, this piece is probably big enough for both. So I'll just trim it off. We'll put the 20 gauge back, and then we're going to do one or the other of these, whichever I decide to go first. So we're going to do our heart, and I want a ball spacer for right here at the end here. Just one. And I want that because it's got that curve in. And I could just not put a spacer here at all and just put the crystal down into here, but I've got to make this, come on, go. This has got to have a wrap right here. So we're going to bend this up. And then bend the other side up. I will allow that to go drop down there. And well, it doesn't really need it. So we'll take it back out. So we're going to bring these wires together. And then we're going to take this one and bend it up. Then we're going to take this second one here and we're going to bring it down, and we're going to do a couple of wraps. And I actually gave it more wire than I needed because we're going to trim this off now. Oop. And tuck it in. And once that's done, we're going to take these two bicones and this crystal spacer I have here. We'll put the crystal bicone on, then the crystal spacer, and the other bicone. Come on, baby, go on there. Bing. So then we're going to wrap that, and it's going to hang right here. You know, that may be too much. We may not want anything but the, we may not want that space that's crystal. We may just want maybe something small, really small right there, since we have to do a little wrapped loop there. And we may not even want this spacer at all. We may just want to do like that. Yeah, we'll just do that. So now this is going to be hanging in another jump ring, unless we decide to hardwire it onto here, which is easier said than done because there's two loops to go through instead of just one. So if we were to do that, we would need, actually if we do that, we could probably put the other one back on maybe. We'll see here. Let's see. But if I do hardwire this onto here, I am going to have to make a larger loop for this. It might be fine. So since we want it to go this way, the way I've got it sitting, we've got to wrap it that direction. So we're going to bend this over right here so it comes towards us, and then I have to get my stepped bell making plier, and then we're going to go up we're going to get this one and we're going to go to the third one here. So up and around and over. Bring it down, bring it around, leave a gap because we got to go into those wires right there. So we're going to slide it through here, and we're going to, there we go, went in pretty easily, surprisingly enough. And I think it'll hang all right. I'm going to cut off about right here, so that I don't have to fight with all this wire as I go around. That should be plenty to wrap. So it just fell back out. We don't want that. Back in there you go. So then we will hold these wires together right here. And then we're going to wrap this right here. Now, this may be lower than I thought when we first started because of the size of my loop I made. If that's the case and it comes way down, well, then it's just going to come way down. It's not that big of a deal. So there we go. Now we'll trim the excess. And tuck it in, being careful because this is a crystal up at the top. So it does come very low, but it actually does not actually hit. So that's all right. Let's see, this was a little bit crooked. So there we go. So it sits like so. Ta-da! So now we have to do our upper one. And we could again hook it straight in, but I think I'm going to use this big jump ring. So we're going to do a wrapped loop down at the bottom. This should be enough. We're going to use a regular up and around and over, bring it down and around, and then we're going to wrap this little guy. Now, since we're going to put it in with a jump ring, I'm not really worried about making a larger loop. So here we go. We'll wrap. Whoop. Well, that looks sort of crappy there. It went up on top of the, up on top right there on the back. Instead of tucking right beside, it went onto the other wrap. There we go. I think I got it fixed. There. Now we have our big crystal. This crystal rondelle, the pearl, crystal, well, it's crystal spacer, and then the crystal. Now, because this one is not got a specific front and back, I can wrap it however I want. So we're going to just make it so it's about the same as the other side. Up and over and around, bring it down and around, and then we're going to wrap it. So we'll hold it with this side and grab our pliers, and we will wrap this baby up. Come on, you. Okay, cut this little bit of extra off here and tuck this in. Okay, so now we can hook this on to here with this jump ring, and then we have to decide what chain we want to use to go up the top. So we'll open this baby up. Go through both loops, and then go through our crystal dangle here at the top, or whichever, whatever you want to call it. It's really not a dangle because it's what's holding us here. And we'll now go up here. Now you can do one of two things. I'm going to put a little chain up here, I think, but if you didn't want it to dangle any further down and didn't care if you had any chain, you could make it a hook right now so that it could just hang right at this present moment. Too heavy. So I'm going to go find some chain that I like, and we'll put some chain on this baby to decide how much do I want to add. And I don't want a whole big bunch, but I'm thinking like maybe that much there. somewhere right in there. So let's see how many inches that is. I think it's probably about 3. Yeah, it's about 3 inches. So 3 inches is good. So I'm going to get my heavy duty clippers now, and I'm going to clip one of these links. And we'll put our wire aside again. Now I'm going to take another jump ring, because I didn't hardwire it on. I need another jump ring to put the chain onto here. And then we'll make a hook for the top. I'm just going to grab a jump ring here instead of bringing them all down. I think I can just grab one out of the hook case. Yep, there we go. We'll open this one up, put our chain on to our crystal, and which will then, of course, put it onto the Suncatcher. Come on, go through there. Now, the last step is to make it a hanging loop. Now, you could just put it on a ring, or you could put it on I'm going to make it a hanging loop, though, as opposed to just putting it on a ring, which you could do. So it would just hang. But I think it's very, very pretty. So I will get some 18 gauge wire out, or some 16 maybe even, depends on my mood. 16, of course, is heavier and will take more of a load and more stress. So maybe we'll just use 16. So we have some 16 gauge wire here. Now I just need enough to make a hook. So that's not a lot, probably about this much. Couple 3 inches maybe. Let's see, is it the same length as the chain? If it's the same length as the chain, it's 3 inches. A little bit longer. So it's about 3 inches though. So now what we want to do, we want our wire to go away. That's what we want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the smallest of our little loops, and we're going to make a small loop here on this end. This loop is not even necessary. It is our decorative loop. Now I'm going to take my wire mandrel. I'm going to put my piece of 18 gauge wire right here, and then we're going to, so we've got this wrapped around here like so, and you want to wrap it quite a bit so it's not quite round, but like this. Then we're going to take the second loop, wrap it up like so. Now I'm going to put it back in the mandrel, not quite all the way down to where it was before, and we're going to push it so that we have a bit of a tail here, like so. Now I'm going to take my decorative piece, and it twisted, so we're going to turn it back to this side. So now we have a hook. Now if you wanted, you could take and make a bow in your hook so that it was more hook-like, like so. And so there we go. There's our hook. So I'm going to open this up here on this end, put our chain inside it, come on, chain, go on. There we go. Close it up, and our little Suncatcher is done. So it's very pretty. There we go, Suncatcher, made with the SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. So there we go. one little sun catcher with a wire heart, and our beads are from the SoftFlex Design Challenge kit. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. It's on a chain, has a hook up here. So pretty. So I hope you enjoyed making this pretty little sun catcher and our wire heart with me today. I think it turned out lovely. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.